Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Cleveland Browns postgame show, part of a free service of Moohead Radio. Moohead Radio, we've been doing it for 13 years, and we're no better at it now than we were 13 years ago. How's everybody doing? We knew we were going to lose this. 21-18 is a lot closer than what we thought. And really, the thing that, and when I do these postgame shows, the whole thing is what strikes me as significant at this moment. And then when we come back and talk about things on Monday on regular Moohead Radio, it's after a little bit more thought. What strikes me is that the Steelers needed another lucky Hail Mary play that was a horrible play by Ben Roethlisberger. It was a horrible decision, and every fucking time it works out for that fucking rapist. Okay, that pretty much covers it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you again on Monday. You know, seriously. I mean, he goes across his body, throws the ball up in the air, 3 white jerseys to 1 Steeler jersey, and somehow the ball finds his hands. Now, I'm sorry. I mean, I'd like to tell you that it's because Ben Roethlisberger is great or that Antonio Brown is great. They're very fine football players. But you know something? Under this set of circumstances, if DeShone Kizer made that throw in a similar situation, in a game in which he was leading by 3 points and threw it up for grabs with 3 opponents right there, people would have criticized it as a rookie mistake, but instead, it turns out just another big play by Pigpen Roethlisberger, and the Steelers win. And that's the only reason that the Steelers won the football game. The only reason. Because if the Browns get that football back, I believe DeShone Kizer finds a way to get that ball into the end zone or into field goal range. I really seriously believe it. This is the first time that I've actually seen the Cleveland Browns team that didn't quit in the preseason not quit in the season opener. Every other time it was like, well, you know, the lousy preseason, and then we just give up in the opener. And this is the first time that I saw some resilience. Hell of a catch by Coleman, knowing he was going to get popped. How many illegal hits on Pittsburgh in this game? And I go over this all the time. 4. I sound like Gene Hackman in Hoosiers. How many times are you going to hit guys in the head? 4 times. You know, that's like that. And the Steelers do it every single season. And I will say again what I need to say. And Greg Williams, if you know Greg, if Greg happens to catch this, if somebody who knows him catches this, turn the dogs loose. Injure their best player. Go after their head and their legs. Fuck them. Because they're trying to injure your best players. They're trying to take the heart and soul from your young core. And they're only doing it against your best young highest draft picks. If you can't see it, and fuck you, Bill Cowher, I see that fucking saber-toothed tiger faggoty face on my screen. Fuck him in the ass. I don't like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't like Mike Tomlin. I hope he gets sickle cell anemia and die, because if you watch the regular program, the thing I hate about the NFL is premature death. It's encephalopathy. It's brain trauma. And they just let this go on, man. Year after year after year. 4 distinct headshots. 4. And how many did the Browns get? None. And who's rewarded? The team that's doing it. Now, in this instance, yeah, the guy who made the hit got, he got hurt. And good. I mean, if you lead with your helmet, I say you're the one who deserves the brain encephalopathy. But you see, in the end, it's both guys who get it. And more often than not, it's the wide receiver coming over the middle who can't be prepared for that kind of contact. And gravity moves him into that shot. And these players know exactly what they're doing. And they were spearing our quarterback on the ground. Twice they speared him. And for me, it's just unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. That's the only reason the Pittsburgh Steelers won, is because of a lucky fucking play. That's the reason they were outplayed. They were outplayed by a team that sucks. The Cleveland Browns have no experience. The Cleveland Browns don't even have wide receivers. Kenny fucking Britt. We'd be better off with Kenny fucking Rhoda at the wide receiver slot. What are we going to do? How are we going to protect 7 times sacked DeShone Kizer? How are we going to protect this guy against getting speared? If the guys you put on the field can't get off the line of scrimmage and they can't catch the football when they do. Ricardo Lewis, doink. Right off. I mean, yeah, we got another headhunting call on that one, but the ball hit him in the chest. For Christ's sake, this is the same shit that happened to him at Auburn. Why is he still on the team? Yes, he caught one pass, and then a first ball in the first half that was like a 4-yard pattern, and then he finally caught one over the middle. And DeShone Kizer played really good football and deserved a far better fate. He made one ill-advised throw, and that's because he looked off Ricardo Lewis because he didn't want to throw to him. Please. How are you going to win without wide receivers? And the Steelers, because of Antonio Brown, yes. You see, Antonio Brown caught 77 passes. And, that we were, and again, did anybody else notice that the defense kind of turned into the Ray Horton defense? What is it in the water, in the municipal water of Cleveland, that turns aggressive defensive coordinators into suddenly coverage guys? And the reason that Pigpen Roethlisberger was able to get that lucky pass off is because it was, again, 4 men rushing. 4 men rushing. And the 3 guys who were there around the football didn't come up with it, and Antonio Brown did. But honestly, I didn't see much in the way of blitzing in the second half at all. I saw Nassib sack Roethlisberger in the first possession in the second half, but we never got close to him after that. And we never put pressure on him. And it's like, I'm tired of all this shit about, we're going to pressure. We're going to be a pressure team. And then you go back into deep coverage and you're giving 6-yard, 7-yard cushions. That's playing not to win. That's playing not to lose. That's just not aggressive football when the other team's spearing you in the head multiple times. And that would be the one thing that I'm probably most disappointed in, is that with the game on the line, we didn't try to rattle Roethlisberger's saber. We didn't try to go out there and win that football game by hurting that motherfucker. Pretend that he's one of the bitches he dragged into the men's room. That's the way you treat Ben Roethlisberger. And we didn't do it. You got to bring the horses when you're close, because if you get that close, there are no points scored for losing 21-18. But damn it, in that last possession, you got to make that son of a bitch pay. And we didn't do it. We know how many years in a row has Big Ben Roethlisberger beaten us by sliding out of the pocket, looking downfield, and throwing the ball downfield. You don't put pressure in the only win situation you have. We did a great job to get back to within 3 points, crossed them up on the 2-point conversion. Wonderful. Now we're within 3. We have to get the ball back. We're going to be short on timeouts. What do? You've got to make a big play that downs them in the backfield. You cannot allow a situation. They had held. We were in a situation where they were already 2nd and 12. You got to bring the horses, man. You got to bring it. Hell's fury. And we didn't do it. It's a surefire recipe for failure. And that's disappointing, because you get one chance to beat this team and one chance only, especially when you're a young team that doesn't have any wide receivers and had to abandon the run. And I'll say something else about Hugh Jackson, because I don't like Hugh Jackson. I think he's a lousy coach, and I will go to my grave saying that he's a lousy coach, because all the bullshit talk is just that, bullshit. He is bullshit with arms and legs, Hugh Jackson. Trust me on this one. Cody Kessler's my guy. Trust me on this one. anything will come out of his mouth. But the famous one that keeps coming out of his mouth over and over again is, yeah, we're going to rely more on the running game. Well, I'm going into the goddamn stats because you know something? I want to see something because watching that game, we'll go to the box score here. How lame is this? By the way, Kaiser, 20 of 30, 222 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, 1 ill-advised throw. And versus 263 yards, 24-36 for Ben Roethlisberger. But he was only sacked 1 time. Kaiser was sacked 7 times, but 1 interception for Roethlisberger. You know, the Steelers got no running game going. They had 35 yards rushing the whole game. Great job by the defensive line of the Browns in preventing them from getting to the second tier of our defense. Antonio Brown caught 11 passes for 182 yards. And that is a killer. You really can't, you know, what are you going to do about that? That is not, you know, he's their biggest weapon. Now, granted, we did a nice job holding down. I mean, you know, out of the backfield, you know, Martavis Bryant didn't do anything to hurt us. Rodgers didn't do anything to hurt us. But Antonio Brown, I mean, you give up almost 200 yards to their premier receiver. It's going to come back and it's going to haunt you. But the Cleveland Browns didn't run the football. 17 carries for 33 yards for Isaiah Crowell, and most of those carries came probably in the first half of the football game. We ran the ball 20 times altogether, and that doesn't include Deshaun Kaiser running for his life. So, you know, I would say that if you threw the ball 30 times and you ran the ball 25 times, you say, well, that's pretty good balance. But it's not good balance when you look at the way it came out on the field, because our team seemed to be unable to move the ball, move the chains, move the clock. And Pitbull Dog, how you doing, buddy? I want to say hi to a few people. Amsterdam and Booby We Trust. Nice to see Arbus back. You know, General Dog, Wable. Hey, Fee, how you doing, buddy? And Pitbull Dog, the block punt was the difference. No, not really. Not really to me, it wasn't. The difference was the play I keep telling you about, which is the downfield throw to Antonio Brown. And when you choose to rush 4 against Pigpen, that's what happens to you. And General Dog Treader looked horrible when he got pushed back like he did again, you know, right into Kaiser. General Dog is saying, what do you call 5 fat fucks who backpedal all day? The Browns offensive line. And, you know, the Browns offensive line didn't do very well. They couldn't get running holes for anybody, and they really didn't do, you know, but a couple of them, Deshaun has to get rid of the football. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that he has wide receivers that can't get off the line of scrimmage. Pitbull Dog says, agreed, but you can't spot them 7 points. But we did, and we came back in the game, and we tied it up. I mean, if the game would have ended up like, you know, 31-3, I would tend to agree with you. It's like if the first thing you do is you give up 7 points on a block punt and you then quit. But the Browns didn't quit. They got back into the game, and they had every chance to get back into that football game. Even at the end of the football game, they had every chance. Let's see what else is saying. Brandon Wheaton's first game, he threw 4 picks and had a quarterback rating of 4.5. That's correct. I mean, we're not blaming Deshaun Kaiser, not by any stretch of the imagination. Played a nice game, but he wasn't getting a whole lot of help now, was he? You know, and again, the debacle of a start, Wable, doesn't, you know, we steadied the ship. I mean, this is what you expect. A team that's kind of a little nervous coming out in front of their home fans against one of the top 4 teams in the league. You're going to have that kind of thing. But that didn't fell us. That's right, Wable. We have no wide receivers. You know, that is the problem. And, you know, everyone's going to make a mistake now and then. You know, Hugh is adult. I don't know. I'm just not nonplussed about his communication skills. That would be a nice way of putting it. Miles Garrett would have been huge. We don't know that. We don't know that Miles Garrett can sack a quarterback. We didn't see it in the preseason. So what makes you think it was going to happen this week? So I don't agree with that. What's the story with the deep safety, 25 yards deep? Probably Mogambi, that Jabril Peppers really is not an accomplished safety, and they wanted to keep everything in front of him. My suspicion is that if he takes his eyes off the wide receiver, he can't use his athleticism because he'd get Linda Ronstadted. Blue Bayou, he would get blown by. So I think they were trying to simplify the scheme for Jabril Peppers so that he could read and react. That's my suspicion as far as that's concerned. I'm trying to answer these questions in real time. Hey, Bronk, how you doing? It was nice seeing you play Mood on your saxophone. That was kind of cool. Yeah. Hope Irma leaves your house in one place. Yeah, the fucking bitch is tearing up Naples right now. It's really not a good situation in South Florida, that's for sure. Yeah, that's right, General Dog. It's hard to get a ball to receivers when the quarterback is running for his life. I absolutely agree with you, especially for a young guy who has got his limited experience. Let's see what else. I'm trying to comment these things in real time because I want people in the chat to be served because you're making the effort here to contribute to the program. When are they going to start ejecting players for these ridiculous hits, Mogambi? As long as it's not the Steelers and the Rooney family, they can do it all they want. That's the answer to that question. Guest 659 says, I have survived the hurricane, but if it's who I think it is, it didn't hit your side nearly as hard. The West Coast is the one that's getting hit horribly, and winds are already up to 134 miles an hour in the eye of the hurricane. So, keep asking your questions in chat. And, I know Ravens shut out the Bengals. What a horrible start for the Cincinnati Bengals. Just a bad thing. Oh, I live in Corpus. Sorry. Oh, okay. In Corpus Christi, you survive that, but I would question whether living in Corpus Christi is really living or surviving. Thank you. Thank you very much. Never been to Corpus Christi, but almost. I was looking at a radio station once in Corpus Christi, but I never actually went there. Oh, it's KB in Corpus. He's a long time listener to the show. So yeah, he said, you're right. Go to San Padre Island. At least it's better, okay? You can always say if you're in Corpus, you can go to San Padre Island and you can be a little bit trendier than saying you're in Corpus Christi. As far as other stats are concerned in the game, we'll go into the individual Brown stats. For individual receptions, Corey Coleman with 5 catches, Seth DeValve with 4, and then everybody down with 2. So, he spread it around pretty well for what there was. Schobert with 9 tackles. I thought he played a good game, even though he gave up a touchdown reception, a couple actually, to Jesse James. His coverage was good. The ball was thrown right on the money. Good quarterbacks will beat you, and he did throw the ball on the money. Give him that. Jamar Taylor with 6 tackles. Christian Kirksey with 5. Peppers with 4. Collins with 4. He was not the force that we would want Jamie Collins to be. Ogunjobi had 4. McCourty had 3, but McCourty let the man get past him, let Antonio Brown past him on the big play, tried to catch up, and he caught up too late. Derek Kindred with a nice pick that was helped by Brian Body Calhoun. Then Nassib had 2 and 1 sack. So there you have that. I was wrong at halftime. Danny Shelton was playing. I didn't see him out there, and usually I could spot his fat ass like it's an aerial shot. Nothing as far as kick returns, really nothing much. An 11-yard average on punt returns by Jabril Peppers. Zane Gonzalez, we got to see 1 extra point. Colquitt, again, 48.5 yards per punt, but the 1 block, not his fault. And there you have it. The overall statistics in the game, I'm looking for time of possession in this game, and I'm not finding that statistic. I guess they've kind of changed the interface on ESPN. Maybe they fired that, at the same time they fired half of their employees. Here we go. First downs, 20-16 Browns. total plays, 62 for the Browns, 54 for the Steelers. I mean, total yards, 290 for the Steelers, 237 for the Browns. This game is very even by all practical purposes and intents. The sacks hurt us tremendously. Neither team able to rush the football. 57 yards for the Browns, 35 for the Steelers. The red zone, the Browns were 2 for 3. The Steelers were 2 for 2. Penalties, get this. Pittsburgh, 13 for 144 yards. Now, are you fucking kidding me? How can the league not look at this? When a team commits 13 fucking penalties for 144 yards, the Browns committed 4 penalties for 61 yards. The Browns won the possession battle 31 minutes to 29 minutes. And that is that. In a very even football game, that's sometimes the way things play out. I know Houston got spanked by Jacksonville, and so now we are going to be the worst team in the league. It is kind of amazing, isn't it? I was shocked to see that. I'm going to go into my Yahoo now as far as the Moohead Pick'em League, and I know that I got demolished this week, but then again, I'm not in this to win it. I'm kind of like the Browns in the final drive. Who would be in it to win it? Let's see how Mr. Moohead is failing. And here we go. Of course, wrong on New England, wrong on the Baltimore game, wrong on Philadelphia. Carson Wentz comes through, wrong on the Jacksonville game. So 4 misses so far and 4 correct. I'm playing 500 ball, and that's not good enough. Thank God the Jets lost, for Christ's sake, or else I'd really be about ready to hang myself. I'd like to take a look at Carson Wentz. I promised I would in the course of the regular show. Let's see if I can get back to the box scores of these games, because I know that there are going to be a lot of people talking when that happens. Here's Philadelphia. Here's your box score. Carson Wentz, 26 of 39, 307 yards. Jeez, oh, Pete's. Like, I really wanted to see that. That makes my fucking day. And why don't we, while we're at it, take a look at the New York Jets, because they're really the team that's supposed to actually be worse than we are. And it was actually a fairly close game with the Buffalo Bills. McCown, get that, 26 of 39 for 187 yards. He was basically throwing the ball underhanded. He was only sacked 1 time, which will tell you, but he did throw 2 interceptions. So Josh McCown is up to his old tricks in that regard. Tyrod Taylor had a nothing game, 16 of 28 with 2 TDs and 1 pick. I'd like to tell you, and look at this. Detroit is blowing out Arizona. Now, what in the hell is going on? Matthew Stafford, 29 of 41 for 292 yards with 4 touchdown passes. Holy cannoli. So Mr. Moohead is going to have a losing record this week in the Pick'em League, and I'm sure that there will be others who ascend to the top, and on Monday's show, we'll go over exactly what's happening in that regard. Let me see. It looks like everything is in complete order here. I've said pretty much what I feel. I don't know how you feel, except disappointed that the Browns lost. But, this year I'm not going to get angry about the Browns because I don't expect anything from the Browns. They did more than I thought they would do. I thought they played a credible football game, and they're just going to have to get better up front on the offensive line. These guys have to gel and play together, and it's going to take some time. And it's tough when it's baptism by fire against one of the 4 best teams in the league. It's just tough. The league is tough. And yes, the Indians are playing on national television tonight, trying to go for 18 straight. So we have that to look forward to. Everybody, I'm going to be back again on Monday. It's going to be raining here. We're going to get the leftovers of Irma here. And so I'll be doing a show tomorrow and going over a little bit more in detail what happened with the Browns and what happened with the Indians. Thanks so much for tuning in. And sorry, the game didn't end up quite the way you wanted it to or I wanted it to. But hey, it was better, especially if you would have asked me 5 minutes into the game how bad it could possibly be. I was already preparing for the 37-3 thing. But 21-18 is better than losing 20-0 at home like the Bengals did to the Ravens. Andy Dalton played like Andy Rooney. Why is it that I can't win now that my offensive coordinator's gone? And that offensive coordinator is our head coach. Go figure. Thanks for tuning in. See you on Monday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Have a good rest of the weekend. And South Florida, stay safe if you can. Bye-bye.